I'm going to show you how to make cinnamon rolls. You're going to need 1.5 teaspoons of salt, a 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 2/3 cup of pat brown sugar, and you can use light brown sugar or dark brown sugar if you choose. You're going to need 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter plus 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. You're going to need 4 eggs, 1 package of active dry yeast, 4.5 cups of flour plus more as needed. You're going to need 1 egg beaten with 1 teaspoon of water, and finally you're going to need 3/4 of a cup of warm milk, no hotter than 110 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to start off by making a dough. In a bowl of an electric stand mixer, dissolve the yeast in the warm milk. You can add a couple pinches of sugar to this too. And after dissolving it, you're going to let it stand for about 10 minutes. It's going to be foamy, and that's how we're going to know that the yeast is active. After 10 minutes, attach your dough hook to your mixer, and we're going to add the eggs, all 4 of the eggs, the salt, the sugar, only the white sugar, not the brown sugar, and 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Now we're going to mix it until it all comes together. I didn't add all the flour at one time. I only added half of it just to prevent all the flour from kind of going everywhere all over the counter. So I'm adding the rest of the flour. So far we have in the bowl the white sugar, the flour, the yeast mixture that we dissolved, the salt, sugar, and eggs. Now once the dough begins to cool together and become soft, and sort of a pliable type dough, still kind of sticky, we're going to work in the 6 tablespoons of butter. I kind of hammer it in big chunks. Pull it off of the dough hook, scrape the bottom of the bowl, just to kind of help the dough with absorbing the butter. And the butter needs to be soft at room temperature. So now we're going to just allow this to knead for about 7 minutes or so on low speed, on your knead speed, or whatever setting is on your stand mixer, until the dough begins to become smooth and springy. If the dough is still far too sticky, feel free to add a little bit more flour at a time. And as you see how I've done in my past videos with any type of bread making, I don't go in and add too much flour if the dough is still sticky. I usually add just a few tablespoons at a time, because you can always add too much flour to the dough, but you cannot take it out. And it's also a good idea if the dough is still slightly sticky. You don't want it to be perfectly smooth. You do want it to be sort of sticky. Now that we got the dough where it's smooth and elastic, it's still sort of sticky, as you see here, I'm going to just put this on a lightly floured surface and knead it a few more times, and then I'm going to place this into an oil bowl and allow this to cover for 1.5 to 2 hours. You don't want it to rise longer than 2 hours. And if you ever made homemade bread and you wonder why the bread sort of tasted like yeast or vinegary, or why when you baked the bread it didn't come out completely done in the middle, it's because you either had let the dough rise too long or you overworked the dough. And as you see, the dough is still slightly sticky, but that's okay. So now I'm going to place this into a lightly oiled bowl. Now cover the bowl and allow it to rise. In the meanwhile, I'm going to mix together my brown sugar and cinnamon. Now that the dough has risen, I'm going to punch it down, and I'm going to split the dough into 2 even halves. And we're going to split it into 2 even halves because we're going to roll each half out into 9 by 14 pieces, and this is just to make it easier to work with the cinnamon rolls so you don't have a long sheet of dough. Lightly flour your surface. Then you're going to roll it out, and I have a disposable ruler that I'm going to use to try to measure it to get it close as possible. Now to getting the dough rolled out, you're going to use 2 tablespoons of the softened butter that's been set at room temperature. You're going to spread it on the inside. Now you're going to sprinkle half of the cinnamon sugar mixture over the dough. You're going to spread it all over. Now you're going to roll the dough up like a log, and you're going to cut it into 8 pieces. And what I usually do is I cut the dough in half, and then cut each half into half, and then cut those halves into halves. And you'll have 8 equal pieces. And I'm using 2 pans. And I believe they're 11 by 7. That's what I'm using. And you need to grease the pans also. And sorry if my directions are not extremely clear. It is pretty late at night. Sort of falling asleep. Do the best you can to pinch the ends to seal it. You pull off any excess sugar that's on the outside of the dough. Now, cut the dough in half, like I said earlier. So you cut those halves in half. And then you're gonna have 8 cinnamon rolls. Try to get them as equal as possible. And once you got the dough cut, you're going to place this into the pan with the cut side down. Now we're going to set this aside and allow them to rise for 1 hour, and then bake these in a preheated 400-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, just until they're starting to turn golden brown, and if you use a toothpick it comes out clean. And then we're going to place this in a cooling rack and allow it to cool off just for a few minutes. But you don't want it to be completely cool, and transfer them onto whatever type of dish that you're going to use and cover it with your favorite type of frosting. I hope that you guys try this recipe and enjoy it. Please don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Also, I do have a contest that's coming up soon, or more of a giveaway. And also, please don't forget to stop by my friend Sarah's channel. Remember, live and be well. Do all you can to stop all bullying and abuse. Thank you for watching.